Hey my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel, Supreme Medium Diviner. Today is a serious topic. It has to be talked about. Can the dead really talk? Can the dead really tell what happened to them? This topic is very important to me. I don't know about you, but it's important to me because if you noticed, globally, around the world, there are so many murders that are unsolved. So many missing people whose cases go cold. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it. Like, what is law enforcement doing? I'm going to shed some light on this today. I'm going to give you the dead person's point of view. The spiritual side's point of view. And you may be thinking, that doesn't stand up in court. Yes, it can, because the dead are pretty accurate. You've just been trained not to listen. Okay? But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to me, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and hit the bell so you can be notified when I drop a video. All right, I want to get right into it. So if you guys have been following me, you guys give me a lot of requests on things that happen in the news with people, especially people who have been murdered. Their case is not national news. Not only that, people hit me up for services. I assist families who have murders and they want to know who killed their loved one. They want to know what happened to their loved ones. A lot of these cases are not solved. So let me tell you something, okay? First off, the dead, they have knowledge of what happened to them. They may not have the energy to tell it the way we could in a conversation here on the earthly realm. So what they do, they show visions. They give you thoughts that are not your own. They say words. They do a lot of clues. And then you have some that can get straight to the point. But as a person who practices necromancy as myself, that means I talk to the dead. I also deal with living spirits as well. But my passion is dead people. I have grown accustomed to their language. I have made myself comfortable with getting on their level so I can understand them because they need a voice. Because they try to reach out to their loved ones. They try to give messages, but sometimes you can't hear it and you miss the signs. So they're going to come to who can help them, and I'm that person. Let me explain something to you when it comes to people who have been murdered, okay? If it's cut and dry, meaning one person involved or not too many other people involved, they can pretty much give very good details, meaning they can point out a person or people, they can tell you the scenario. But when it is a huge involvement, meaning a force, let's call it that, was involved in their death, it's hard to pinpoint. What I mean by that is, me, I can see their death. Me, I can see who killed them. But how do you prove it? How do you prove it? And they're being protected. Okay? So you got to go through all these people to get to the one person who's responsible. And all these people, let's call it the force. It's a force, okay? So you can't penetrate that force as easily as you could when it's a simple case. You got to understand that, okay? So let's talk about the ones that are killed and it's, pretty cut and dry. How do they talk? They will give clues to the family so they can find out and narrow it down. Let me give you an example. I had a client last week whose loved one was shot and died. And the client just needed to know who done it. It was in broad daylight. The police are not forthcoming with the information. So one thing you got to realize is I get a lot of people and the police are not helping. So when the police don't help, guess what? They coming to me. And I get a lot of these type of clients. So that's why this subject is dear to me, because globally, this is crazy. This is crazy. The police will sit on information. The police will accuse you of knowing something, meaning that if you know it before they can solve the investigation, it might mess up their investigation. They won't get back in contact with you. They'll say they're going to assist you and won't get back in contact with you. It can take months. This is the type of things that families who are grieving, this is what they're dealing with. This is real life. We see a lot of things on TV. Everything on TV is not real, but everything on TV is real. Okay? So, I can see a vision that the loved one can't. So, it's my job to transfer this vision into something that the loved one can understand. So, I have to start asking questions. So, in this particular client, the deceased person was giving me clues, and based off those clues and the questions that I asked, we narrowed it down to one. The reason why we had to keep going is because my vision, from what I saw, we had two people. Okay? So we had to narrow it down to one. So I had to ask specific questions. So that's pretty cut and dry. I told the person they could breathe a little better, but now, okay, what do we do? What do they do now? Because the police are not doing anything. How do they get justice for their loved ones? A lot of them have to sit on it. A lot of them take care of it themselves. Real talk. But 99.9% of the time, the dead person does not want their loved one to act on it. 99.9% of the time, they have refused to do the mediumship because they know they're coming to ask questions and they don't want them to get hurt. They want to protect them. So on the other side, these people that have been murdered in unsolved cases, they still try to protect their loved ones. But hey, the ones that's living, they feel like that's, they got to get justice for you. So they push and they push and they push and they push. And then the loved one will understand and give in. But they may don't do anything. I've had that so many times. So, a lot of y'all have questions like, well, if you can hear them, why don't you know? Why you can't point to? Why can't, they tell you exactly what happened? And that's not true. They can tell you exactly what happened. But you just don't understand it because it's not cut and dry. You got to look at the context clues. And you got to be able to prove it. Okay? So the dead can talk. The dead can tell. They can show and tell. So if you got the right medium for a murderer, they're going to blow your shit up. They're going to blow your shit up. You caught. Now let's talk about dead people whose cases are not so cut and dry. Where there's that word that I mentioned, the force. Let's talk about that. They will show you everything under the sun, right? Why do they do this? Because they want everybody to pay for it. They come with a vengeance. Prime example. Hold on. Let me get his name right. Oh my God. Let me find his name because I'm not really into a lot of the new rappers. Hold on. But y'all love this man. Young Dolph. Young Dolph. I channeled Young Dolph, I think it's been about a year ago. All of them have rage, right? Because they're going to be mad they were murdered. But Young Dolph, he had a rage that was like trembling. And he wants everyone to pay, right? So instead of just like showing me the one person, he's showing me a story. And if y'all go on TikTok, you can watch my video and y'all can, I had people comment, they were like, we could feel the anger. And a lot of people said the city cried that day. They was like the energy in the city that day when he died. It was like the city cried. Y'all know why? Because he was coming with a vengeance. When there's an organization, when it's that word, that force, they come differently. The dead come different. You feel their pain. You feel their wrath. They come different. They don't rest until everyone that is responsible comes tumbling down. So because they have this one track vision, they give you a story, they tell everything, and so it takes time to build this story. There are a few cases that I'm working with where it takes time to build the story. Y'all be like, oh Tammy, can you do this, can you do that? And I don't come right away. It's because I gotta think, I gotta process, I gotta look at the context clues, I gotta look at the things that they're showing me, because it comes with the story. A lot of people need to be implemented. They want destruction. They want them to come down. And sadly, this force is beyond our control. There's a higher level that controls this force. And so sadly, when it comes to the investigation being closed, they drag their feet. Their hands are tied. Mayor Adams in New York City has a lot of heat on him right now. A lot of heat on him right now. I guarantee, I know for a fact, he's taking the rap for some type of crime that has been covered up in New York City. He's the fall guy. This is how these things work, y'all. This is how these things work. So the dead talk as soon as someone can hear them. So the reason why I'm doing this video today is to get you to understand this. Back in the day, they relied on people like me. Okay? Especially melanated people, okay? They relied on people like me. And they relied to get everything, all the truth. So do not be opposed to taking it back and listening to the dead. Y'all got to realize something. Just because they're on the other side does not mean they can't communicate. I know we've been taught so many things. I do this every day. Every day. My daughter told me last night after a session, how do you do this? How do you sleep at night? How can you go on with your day and you talk to dead people every day and you give information to families? And I told her, I said, it is more important to me to bring somebody peace with my gift and than to worry about how it's going to make me feel. I can handle that. I've been doing it for so long. But we got to get back to this. We have to. Do y'all know that black people were funeral owners, especially in the South? Like that was like the main occupation, their business. You know why? Do y'all know why? So they could solve murders. So they could treat the dead kindly. So they could listen and hear the dead. Y'all got to stop being so closed-minded. Y'all got to take it back. Y'all got to listen. And a lot of times, 99.9% of the time, the dead has already told you before you book with me. You just can't hear them. Or you just don't know the signs. So look, I know we've been taught y'all's favorite saying, the dead know nothing. Who told you that? Who told you that? Stop believing everything you hear. Stop believing everything that you see when it comes to that. They know. They know. They have feelings. Okay? They get tired when their cases are not solved. They get tired. They get frustrated. So I urge you guys to come to the dead. When you're not getting the answers that you need from authorities, come to the dead. They will tell you everything that you need to know. I promise you, they won't let you down. So, I hope this sheds some light onto the problem that we're having globally. And you guys understand how important it is to have a relationship with the dead people. Just don't bury them and forget. When I say forget, I mean don't think that you can't communicate. Don't think that it's over with. It's not. It's not over with. Be their voice. You got to be their voice. So, please share this video. Get this out. If you have not subscribed, like I said, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell to be notified. If you need my services, you can locate me on Google. Just type in Supreme Medium Diviner. Or you can go to the search bar, put in www.yosoulseek.com. Also, be mindful of the scammers. If you didn't go on my website, you did not book with me. If I did not give you instructions to go to my Cash App, Voodoo Queen, it's not me. So, I love y'all, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.